Before I start today's video, before I start this message, I want to give a short recap on yesterday's message. Yesterday's message was rather quite painful. I felt very vulnerable yesterday, giving away my personal story, my personal journey of life, what it means, what it meant to be pretty much a loner for most of my life. What have I attained? What means of success have I attained on this journey of my life? I gave it over here yesterday. It was painful, and I must add that the articulation of my message was rather imperfect. That sort of happens sometimes when I discuss painful things. I don't have perfect alignment. It's probably part of the trauma of the past, but that kind of happens when I'm still grappling with past trauma, with past events, which really made me feel so deeply in pain and made me go through suffering and trauma. It was painful. I felt very empowered, being able to compare my story with the story of Jacob in the Bible. I keep on saying Jacob, Yaakov, because I like to spread my message to everybody. A lot of people don't say Jacob, they say Yaakov. I try to be very inclusive in order to include everybody. That's why I do that. But in today's video, I'm not going to stick to that kind of inclusivity, because I'm trying as much as possible to get this message out without any barriers. I want to be as genuine as possible so you can get me from my deepest core of my being. So let me just say beforehand, just be aware that when I say Yaakov, it means Jacob, and when I say Jacob, it means Yaakov. You probably know that anyways. And when I say Isaac or Yitzchak or Esav or Essau, I'm referring to the same person. It's just the way it's expressed in English. Essau in English and Esav in Hebrew. Yaakov in Hebrew, Jacob in English, Yitzchak in Hebrew, and Isaac in English. Okay? So let's get on with it, shall we? Yesterday I discussed the painful reality of Jacob when he had to flee his parents. He grew up with his parents, and he spent 9 months in his mother's womb with Essau, and he had to flee because that brother who he grew up with threatened to kill him. And when he fled, Esau's grandchild Eliphaz caught up with Yaakov, and he said to him, "I'm going to have to kill you. I got to carry out my grandfather's bidding." Yaakov told him, "No need for that. You could actually take my money, my possessions, and if you take somebody's possessions and they have no possessions left and they're in poverty, it's like killing them." There's a pertinent message concealed in that idea. It's quite powerful. It's quite true that when you are left without money, when you're left without your possessions, and in my case without your children, in some ways it's like being killed. And in some ways, my journey of my life, it's like I've been killed and I've been reborn and reincarnated. That's sort of what I was trying to convey in yesterday's message. I love my children dearly. One might get the impression that I got over it, I get over it, I moved on with life. It doesn't work like that. I love my children dearly. I do whatever I have to. I do whatever I have to survive. I can't always talk about my children because I have to do whatever I have to in order to survive. But I love my children dearly. It's coming up to 4.5 years soon since I've last seen my children. I've actually seen my oldest son from a distance in 2016. I think it was December 2016. He was in a distance. I saw him in a distance and he was like, whew, he was tall. I didn't expect to see him so tall. But it was a beautiful experiencing. I was very happy when I saw him. Won't get into it today. But point being that when Jacob had his possessions removed from him, and when he lost one of his children for many, many years, he got to experience a similar thing to what Jessica Madden experienced. I've had all my possessions taken away from me. I've had also my children taken away from me. And I lost a lot of friends. I lost practically all my friends when I went out to save my life. In exchange for saving my life, I gave away friends. It's painful. It's a very painful reality. And some friends came along my journey along the way and they left me. And it's very beautiful how I explained it yesterday. That's correlated to, you know, when there's somebody running away from a robber, there's people who could protect them on the way of their journey, but they can't stick around them for long. And that's kind of what happened to me in my journey. When I escaped, when I ran away, when I'm still running away, so to speak. But I really get a lot of solace and a lot of that feeling of consolation when I look at the Bible, when I look at the Torah, and I see the story of our forefathers, what they experienced, and how similar it is to my experiences. How similar it is to my experiences, whether it's the story of Noah, which is not even the forefathers, it's the father before the forefathers, or it's the story of Abraham, or even the story of Sarah and Rebecca, what they experienced, what they grappled with throughout their journey of life. And in the story of Jacob and Essau, and etc., what they grapple with along the journey of life is very, very similar in many, many ways to my story. And I get immense strength, courage, and most of all, determination to carry on my beautiful life. How Jacob was in a situation, which is in next week's Torah reading, he was in a situation of, and he was left alone, by Vater Yaakov levado, which means, and Jacob was left all alone in isolation, because his brother Esau, or rather the angel of his brother Esau, knocked him on his leg, I think it was a shin bone of his leg, and he was all alone. Again, he was all alone again. And there's a lot of implications from that particular verse in the Bible, and I'm not going to get into it either. But there's so much which I learn out. When I study the Bible now, I really, really connect to our forefathers and matriarchs, and I really connect to the story, to their story in particular. But today's message, that was quite a long introduction, wasn't it? Quite a long recap of yesterday's video. Sorry about that. But now I'm going to get into today's message. I'm going to try and get it up and articulate it to the best of my ability. Today I want to start off by thanking God for the many gifts He has given me, and He continues to give me. I am the light I am. You are the light you are. I am part of the divine, and you are part of the divine. I am sending you my blessings. My blessings I am sending you. I want to carry on talking about resistance. Most of our pain comes from resistance. We want things to be another way. We want things to get better. We want to have friends. We want people to see us a certain way. We want to be perceived by people and make them think a certain way about us. Me, I was like that. We like it when people think that we have lots of friends around us. I was like that. I used to try and tell people I've got lots of friends around me, just to be perceived a certain way. We want friends, and when we get to a party our friends arranged, there's a new type of resistance. Despite wanting to express ourselves the way we want and think, we feel like there's a muzzle placed on our mouths. We want to be able to be respected for our opinions. We want to be liked. We will pretend to agree with people when they say crazy things because, once again, we are resisting. We are resisting that fear. When we ascend spiritually, a new type of resistance is created. We resist not being in a high vibration. We resist being amongst people who don't have spiritual aspirations. We resist God who is dressed up in the form of other people. We resist ourselves. We resist the frustration that comes from not ascending fast enough. And we resist that the world hasn't yet arrived at the 5D dimensional state. We resist people who don't align with us. Seriously, what the hell is going on? Why are we still resisting? We've reached spiritual peak, spiritual ascension. Why are we still resisting? Aren't we supposed to be aligned with everyone? On the spiritual path, aren't we one heart with everyone? Is having a spiritual ego really a place, a state to call home? If it isn't, then why are we still resisting, for heaven's sake? Breaking news, newsflash. On this planet, we will always have some form of judgment and resistance. You can't deny that. It's impossible any other way. With that out of the way, let me just say, I just don't believe in a few things I believed in on the beginning of my spiritual path. Like, for instance, people who aren't part of my alignment are not interested in me because we don't align. When perhaps that should be looked at another way. Rather, people who don't like me are not interested in me because we have little in common. We like those we have in common with. Loneliness. Let's get back to loneliness just for a short, brief minute. There's too much stress placed in all societies on the fear of being alone. Loneliness is actually not a bad thing if it's taught and encouraged in a healthy way. There's nothing wrong with loving yourself. There's nothing wrong with liking yourself. I'm going to give myself a hug. I repeat, there's nothing wrong with being alone. And you have been lied to. Society conditions us not to want to be alone. No, I don't deny the scientific research on this topic. I just know that I've learned so much about myself through spending times alone. How does that sound? Did you enjoy today's video? Why not smash that like button? This is a shout out to Mike. Thank you so much for sharing with me what you were taught in your meditation today. I felt so deeply touched that you shared that on my channel here. Thank you so much for sharing your message on my channel here. I'm really grateful. Thanks so much to other amazing commenters on this amazing channel. Thanks tons. Thanks to Vishon, to Beth, to Positivity, and the many others, Karen as well, the many others who have left their great comments and their amazing feedback. I'm so grateful. Thanks so much. Please feel free to share this video with your friends, family, peers, and acquaintances. Feel free to share away. Drop a comment if you have a comment. Why not? Leave your feedback in the comment section down below. I look forward to seeing you in my next video. I love you.